If you swallow, do you want to put my phone on silent?
So that's just why she said she wants a divorce.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's probably fair enough. She's done her time. The next style of conditioning that we're going to look at is, it feels like a lot of rest initially, but it is fantastically effective.
Are you cleaning and doing?
No, I'll be swinging and pushing, doing push-ups. Now you can read more about the mechanics of it in a book called The Quick and the Dead from Pavel Tsatsouline, but it's essentially doing explosive movement every 3 minutes. So what we're going to look at is from the second conditioning tool we're going to use is one that uses high power output and a lot of rest. Now it seems counterintuitive that having this much rest will improve your conditioning, but this is being used with high level athletes around the world right now. And it's based on research that the Soviets did throughout the sort of heyday of Soviet athleticism. They may have had some extra vitamins than what I'd encourage you guys to have, but they were beating other teams that were also supplementing quite heavily. And the other cool thing about their athletes is that they were actually still healthy in their 50s, 60s and 70s later on, which you can't say about the people they were competing with in most cases. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do 10 powerful swings. The goal is to really generate force and send the bell a long way. Once I've done those 10 swings, I'm just going to keep moving, but I'm not doing anything in a hurry. So, and you'll do 10 rounds. So you're going to end up with 100 swings and 100 push-ups, and that's it. And if you need to, we want the push-ups to be explosive. So if your push-ups start slowing down, you need to shift to something that's going to support you enough that you can do it easily. You can do it on an elevated surface, or you can do it with a band underneath your shoulders or your hips, and that will also be beneficial. But what you want is you want that high power output. If you're grinding through, we're not going to be stimulating the same fibers that we want to stimulate. All right, so 10 swings. All right, make sure you hinge down well, follow all the things that we talk about in the swing tutorial, and okay, so that took me about 20 seconds. That means I've got to wait for 40 seconds before I do the next piece. Now, I'm actually going to have almost 3 minutes of rest before I do the next set, because we're going to go 10 swings 1 minute, 10 push-ups the next minute, and then rest for a whole minute. All right, we're going to go through that sequence 10 times, so it's about 28.5 minutes of activity. So pretending that 40 seconds has passed, I'm not sure if it has, but well actually, ignoring that. So the reason that we have the big rest is we have it's not a nutrient, we have this thing in our cells called creatine phosphate. And this fuel burns super hot, and it facilitates our most powerful energy system. And what we're doing is, with the long rest, is we're actually allowing that to replenish itself back up so that we can be powerful again. Our body is really clever. So if I know that I'm going to have to go again soon, and that I'm going to keep on depleting that and not replenishing it properly, then my body's going to start dialing back the amount of force it gives me. It's going to help me to be conservative with that, and ultimately I'm going to find that I'm becoming very efficient with the movement rather than very powerful. And it's useful, but not necessarily useful for what you might be wanting it for. So I've just done my 10 swings, I've waited for 40 seconds, and then I'm going to hop down and I'm going to do 10 push-ups. Now you're not going to do just 10 normal push-ups, you've got two options. The first option is you can come down and throw yourself off the ground with a clapping push-up and launch into it that way. My preferred option is to come down and I'm driving my heels into the ground, right? The heel of my hand into the ground. And I like that because it's going to put a lot less wear through you, all right? But you're still generating just as much force. You're just not sending yourself into the air to do it. Now, if you don't have a lot of miles on you, the clapping push-ups are probably fine, all right? It will condition your joints and your shoulders, and you're only going to be doing 100 of them anyway. But if you've either been sedentary for a long time, or you have a lot of wear on you, if you're rolling a lot, I think this second option is way better for most people. So what I'm doing is I'm coming down. I don't need to come down incredibly slowly, but I want to drive my heels into the ground as I do it. Okay? And so you're wanting to get smoothish push-ups. You want to be done in 20 seconds if you can, but it doesn't have to be. It can, you can be consistent but be powerful. And so you roll through. You do that whole thing 10 times. And you do it 2 to 3 times a week, depending on how much other work you're doing. All right, so it's not a lot. Alongside that, if you wanted to really drive things in on one session once a week or once a fortnight, that would be fine as well. But if I was a jiu-jitsu athlete, I would probably do that by just moving on someone, like as in just transitioning in a hurry through different positions and playing hard rather than necessarily using something else. That said, once you're real high level, you might want your air dying.